We're going to be focusing on opening the hips. And I also, if you have props at home, I would also recommend you find yourself a block or something that can substitute for a block, such as a book, a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can always get a belt. And I would recommend having something soft for your knee because we will be kneeling. So I'll give you a moment now if you need to run and collect those things. But this class is going to be suitable for all levels, so even if you're a complete beginner, that's no problem. So let's get started. Make sure you're sitting comfortably. Close your eyes and bring your attention into your room. Press down through your sit bones, lengthen your spine, and take 3 deep breaths. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth with a sigh. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. And 1 more time. Deep inhalation. Exhale. Slowly open your eyes. Place your left hand on the floor alongside you. Stretch your right hand across. Push down through the sit bones. Open the chest up to the ceiling. Make sure you're breathing deeply here. And then with an inhalation, come back up to center. Exhale, swap sides. Rotate the chest up. And inhale back to center. Place your right hand on your left knee and twist. Keep the spine long as you twist and look over the back shoulder. Inhale to center, exhale, swap sides. Make sure that the shoulders are away from the ears and that the neck is long as well. And then inhale back to center. Have your right leg in front of your left and move the fleshy parts from under your bum. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips, walk the hands out. Stay here and breathe. As you do so, press down through your sit bones, lengthen through the front of your body, and keep your shoulders down. Stay low, walk your hands over to your left, press down through your right sit bone. Feel the stretch in the lower right torso. And then walk your hands over to your right, pressing down through your left sit bone. Make sure that the spine stays long here. And then walk your hands back into the center. Inhale, push yourself up. Take your right leg and swing it behind you into pigeon. Place your hands either side of the mat and then spiral the spine. Try to create big circles with the head. And then come to stillness, resting down on the forearms. If you like, you can rest your forehead down on the back of your hands. Stay like this. Make sure that the weight is running through the center of the body and you're not collapsing to your left or your right. Let the upper body feel heavy and feel a gentle stretch through the hips and the glute. Inhale, push yourself up, walk your hands in. Bring your back leg forward and this time have your left leg in front of your cross leg position. Move the fleshy parts from under your bum. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Walk the hands out. Stay here and breathe. Make sure you're pressing down through the sit bones, lengthening the spine. And if you can, walk your fingertips forward another centimeter. Stay low, walk your hands to your left, press down through the right sit bone. And then walk your hands over to your right, pressing down through the left sit bone. Feel the stretch in the lower left torso. And then make your way back into the center. Inhale, push yourself up, walk the hands in. This time the left leg is going to go back. So slide the left leg back, hands either side of the mat, spiral the spine again. Big circles with the head. And then come to stillness, resting on the forearms. If you like, rest your forehead down. Try to ensure that the spine stays long. Try to keep lengthening through the front of your body. And then inhale, push yourself up, walk the hands in, tuck under the back toes and come onto your hands and knees. We're going to go into cat-cow pose. So check that your wrists are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. And then inhale, lift your head and your hips so you're arching the back. And exhale, drop down, rounding the back. Keep going. Inhale, up, feel the stretch through the front of the body. And exhale, down, feel the stretch along the back of the body. Inhale, lifting the head and the hips. Exhale, dropping the head and the hips. One more time each way. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, all the way down. Draw the navel in. Inhale, back to neutral. From here, sit back on your heels and thread your right arm under your left. Bring the head down onto the floor. And feel the stretch through the back of the shoulder. Let the upper body feel heavy. And continue to breathe deeply. Swap sides. Thread the left arm under the right. Bring the head down. And then come back to center. Stay where you are. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. You can extend your right leg out to the side and rest down on the forearms. So your right leg should be going straight out, sideways. Your foot is in line with your hip. Feel the stretch under the leg. And then swap your legs over. Make sure that your foot is flat on the floor. This will give you a deeper stretch. And bring your leg back in, and we come into child's pose. Turn sideways again. So take the knees wide, feet together, sit the bum back, Slide the hands out, bring the forehead down onto the floor. Stay like this, breathing deeply. If you can, walk the fingers forward another centimeter. Feel the stretch under the arms and along the sides of the torso. Two more deep breaths. From here, inhale, tuck under your toes, push yourself up into downward facing dog. Walk it out. So walking on the spot. Feel the stretch through the back of each leg. As you're walking, keep the hips lifted up high. Now, bring your left heel down towards the floor. Hook the right foot behind the left heel. Get a deeper stretch through one leg and continue to breathe deeply. Swap your legs over. This time the right heel comes down towards the floor. The left foot hooks behind. And then we come into full downward facing dog. So both heels press down towards the floor. Check that your feet are hip width distance and that the outer edges of the feet are parallel. The legs are strong and engaged. The hips are lifting up high. Two more breaths like this. And then slowly walk the feet towards your hands. When you reach your hands, roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Head is the last thing to come up. And then we'll come into modified Sun Salutations. So these are not your normal Sun Salutations. They are, I would say, a little bit easier. But there's more core work in the middle. You'll see what I mean. So come to the front of your mat with your feet wide, almost mat width distance. You can turn the toes out slightly, lengthen the spine. Inhale, reach the hands up high. Bring the palms together. Exhale, lower down into Malasana. That's a squat. So try to bring the heels down onto the floor. The weight here should be in the heels and the bum. Lengthen the spine, lift the chest, and draw the shoulders back. Place the hands down in front of you and step your feet back into plank. Now, stay in your plank. Your option here is to lift your right arm up. But that's optional. If you're lifting the right arm up, keep everything else the same. Keep the weight through the center of the body. Keep the hips low. If your arm is up, swap arms. Lift the left arm up. Remember, you don't have to lift arms up. You can keep both hands down. And release. Push back into downward facing dog. Make sure that your palms are flat on the floor, the arms are straight, and then rotate the shoulders so that the armpits start to face one another. This will broaden out the upper shoulder area. Take two more deep breaths here. And then inhale, step your right foot on the outer edge of the right hand, left foot on the outer edge of the left hand, and slowly roll up. Take your time. And that is one modified sun salutation. We're going to do 2 more of those, and in the next one we'll be lifting up a leg, so it won't be the arm, and that's optional, and the one after that will be lifting up an arm and a leg. So feet wide, inhale, hands up. Exhale, lower down into Malasana. Try to lengthen the spine, keep the shoulders down and away from the ears. And use the elbows to press against the insides of the knees. Place your hands down in front of you. Step your feet back into plank. Stay in your plank like this, or lift up your right leg. Make sure that you're pressing the floor away from you and the core is engaged. Try to keep the hips low so they don't lift up. If your leg is up, swap legs. Make sure you're breathing. And then if the leg is up, place it down, and we all push back into downward facing dog. Again, hips lift up nice and high here. Spine is long. Relax the back of the neck and relax the muscles in the face. Take 2 more breaths here. Inhale, step your right foot on the outer edge of your right hand, left foot on the outer edge of your left hand, roll up slowly. Okay, final one. Feet nice and wide. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, down. Lift the chest up, draw the shoulders back. Keep breathing in and out of the nose. And then place your hands down in front of you, step your feet back into plank. Stay in your plank, or you can lift up your right arm and left leg. Remember to keep the core engaged, keep the weight running through the center of the body. If your arm and leg are up, bring them down, swap sides. Try not to let the hips go up into the air here. And then we can all push back into downward dog. As you're breathing here, notice the body getting warmer. And as the body gets warmer, notice how you can push deeper into the stretch. Keep lifting the hips up high and keep the pose active. Two more deep breaths. And then inhale, step your right foot onto the outer edge of the right hand, left foot on the outer edge of the left hand, slowly roll up. Okay, now shake out the arms and the legs. We're going to go into a very gentle flow. So come to the front of your mat in Tadasana with your feet together. Lengthen the spine, arms alongside the body. From here, inhale, hands up, reach up tall. Exhale, fold forward, relax the neck. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, place your hands down either side of your feet. Step or jump the feet back into plank. If you want, you can go onto the knees here. If not, lower through Chaturanga, elbows tight to the body. Inhale, upward dog, strong legs. Exhale, downward dog. Take 2 breaths here. Step your right foot between your hands. Inhale up into Warrior 1. Make sure the back heel is planted down on the floor. There's a deep bend in the front knee and the hips are square to the front of your mat. Two more breaths like this. And then inhale, straighten the front leg, open the arms out, and prepare for Trikonasana. So inhale again, lengthen the body forward, bring the hand down onto the ankle or the shin, open the hips and the chest up, look up at the top thumb. Make sure that both legs are strong and straight here. The hips are opening up to the side. The spine is long and you're actively reaching the top fingers up towards the ceiling. 2 more breaths. Slowly inhale to come back up to center. As you exhale, bend your right knee. Bring the right arm down on top of the knee. Stretch your left arm across. Open the chest up towards the ceiling. This is Utthita Paschimottanasana, extended side angle. Every time you inhale, feel the body lengthen and expand. Every time you exhale, try to rotate the chest up. 2 more breaths. Exhale, the top hand down onto the inner foot. Inhale, spin onto the back toes, rotate the chest to your right, lift the right arm up. Stay like this, breathing deeply. Make sure that the spine is long. Two more breaths, then we'll take our vinyasa. Exhale, the top hand down onto the outer edge of the foot. Step the front foot back into plank. Come down onto the knees if you need to, and then lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, knees off floor. Exhale, downward dog. Take 2 deep breaths in your downward facing dog. And then step your left foot between your hands. Inhale up, Warrior 1. Again, check that the back heel is grounded down. Deep bend in the front knee. Hips are square to the short edge of the mat. Keep the shoulders down, but actively reach the fingers up. Take 2 more breaths like this. Inhale, straighten the front leg, open the arms out. And then inhale again to lengthen the body forward. Bring the hand down onto the ankle or the shin. Open the hips and the chest. look up at the top thumb. This is Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. Make sure that the spine is long here. At the same time, lengthen along both sides of the torso. Two more breaths. Inhale to come back up. As you exhale, bend the left knee, bring the left arm down, open the chest up and stretch your right arm up and halfway over. Again, lengthen the spine, and every time you exhale, open the chest up towards the ceiling a little more. Two more breaths. Exhale, the top hand down onto the inner left foot. Spin onto the back toes, and then inhale, twist to your left and lift your left arm up. Keep the spine long and extend out through the crown of your head. Two more breaths here. Exhale, the top hand down onto the outer edge of the foot. Vinyasa, step the front foot back, drop down on the knees if you need to, lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. Take 2 deep breaths here. And then step your right foot between your hands. Inhale up into high lunge. So, this time you're on the back toes. Back leg is strong and engaged. Feel the stretch through the front of the body and breathe deeply. Take 2 more breaths here. And then inhale, tapping the back foot, bring your hands down. We're coming into tree pose. So bring your left foot onto the right inner thigh. Place the hands in prayer position. And once you've found your balance, lift your arms up. This is Vrikshasana, tree pose. So ground down through the supporting leg. Lengthen the spine. Keep the shoulders down. Reach the arms up. If you want to challenge yourself, and I mean really challenge yourself, you can close your eyes. That makes the pose really hard. Keep breathing deeply. Make sure that the knee is pressing out so that the hips are open. 2 more breaths. From here, keep the foot where it is for now. Bring your hands down and place them in prayer position. We come into Warrior 3. So very slowly, start to lean forward and come into a capital T shape, Warrior 3. If you can, square the hips to the floor. Focus on a point in front of you to help you balance, and take 2 more breaths. Exhale, vinyasa. Hands down, feet back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths here. Step your left foot between your hands. Inhale, up, high lunge. So this is a strong pose. Make sure the back leg is strong and engaged. Deep bend in the front knee. Shoulders down, fingers reach up. Take 2 more breaths here. And then inhale, tap in the back foot and bring your right foot onto the left inner thigh. Hands in prayer. Once you've found your balance, lift your arms up. Again, if you really want to challenge yourself, close your eyes and try not to fall over. If you find that your foot is sliding down your leg, really try to press the foot into the leg, press the leg back into the foot. 2 more breaths. Keep your legs where they are, hands back into prayer. Slowly transition into warrior 3. So this is your capital T shape. Try to have both legs strong and straight. Square the hips to the floor. Two more breaths. Exhale the hands down, vinyasa. Feet go back, lower through chaturanga. Elbows tight to the body. Inhale, upward dog, lift the chest up. And exhale, downward dog. Stay here for 2 deep breaths. Now, step your right foot between your hands, drop down on the back knee. So this is where you might want to use one of the props that I mentioned at the beginning of the class. I'm going to use this little pad thing, which you can buy at Decathlon, and place it under your left knee. Have your knees at 90-degree angles like this. And then tuck your tailbone under so that you feel the stretch through the front of the left hip and the left thigh. Stay like this and breathe. So this is going to feel very easy compared to everything we've been doing. This is a really effective stretch. Couple more breaths here. And then we'll come into low lunge, Anjaneyasana. So slide your right foot forward and then sink your hips down and forward. You have options here. You can either have your hands on your knee, and this will help you with your balance. Or if you're quite comfortable with the balance, bring your hands to your heart center in prayer position. As you're breathing, let the hips sink down and forward. Keep the spine long, the chest lifted, shoulders draw back. Take 2 more breaths here. And then Inhale the weight back to center, and we come into our half splits. So straighten the front leg and flex the front foot. Bring the hands down either side of your front leg, and then inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold deep. The challenge here is to keep the foot flexed, keep the legs straight. If you need to, you can rest on the fingertips so you're a little bit higher. If you want a deeper stretch, you can bring your left hand and hold on to the outer edge of the right foot. So just work at the level that suits you best. Try to listen to your body. Take 2 more breaths. And we take a vinyasa. Bring the weight back into the front foot, tuck under the back toes, hands down, foot back. Lower through chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take 2 deep breaths here. This time, step your left foot forward, drop down on your right knee. And we have our knees at 90 degrees. Tuck the tailbone under and feel the stretch through the front of the right hip and the right thigh. If you can't feel the stretch, tuck your bum under a little bit more. Two more breaths here. And then slide your left foot forward, sink the hips down. Either place your hands on the knee or in prayer position at your heart center. Every time you exhale, sink the hips a little lower. Take 2 more breaths. And we come into half splits again. So bring the weight back into the center, straighten your front leg, flex your front foot. Bring the hands either side of the front leg. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward. Remember, if you need to come up a little bit higher on the fingertips, then do so. Or if you need to hold on to the outer edge of the left foot with the right hand, then do that. Focus on folding at the hips, keeping the spine long. Every time you inhale, lengthen. Every time you exhale, fold forward a little more. 2 more breaths here. And we take another vinyasa. Bring the weight back into the front foot, tuck under the back toes, hands down, step the front foot back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 deep breaths here. Come through to seated. So we're now on the floor. We're going to come into Paschimottanasana. It's a forward fold, so you might need a strap. Extend both legs out in front of you. Move the fleshy parts from under the bum. Flex your feet and see if you can hold on to the big toes with the first 2 fingers of each hand. If you can't do that, take your strap, place it around the bottom of your feet, and then we can all inhale to lengthen, exhale, fold forward. If your elbows are bending when you're folding forwards, then make sure that they bend to the outer edges of the room and not down. So this will help broaden the back. Make sure that the spine stays long, so wherever you are in this pose, whether your chest is down on your knees or you're still sitting relatively upright, make sure that the spine is long. Every time you inhale, lengthen. Every time you exhale, fold deeper. Take 2 more breaths. And then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Give the legs a little shake. And we're going to come into tabletop. So, bend your knees. Have your feet hip-width distance and bend your knees. Hands should be 20 to 25 centimeters behind you with your fingers pointed forward. I do recommend checking that your hands are level. And then we inhale, press through the hands, lift the hips up. If you want, drop the head back, and we're in tabletop. If you don't like the head back, you can look forwards. In your tabletop pose, really try to keep the hips lifted up so that you are like a table. Feel the stretch through the front of the arms and the front of the body. 2 more breaths. Exhale to release. Give the arms a shake if you need to. And then we're going to come into a twist. So stay sitting as you are. Place your left hand on the floor behind you, right hand on the left knee. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist. As you're twisting, try to keep the spine long. Keep the shoulders down, and if it's comfortable to do so, look over the back shoulder. Two more breaths here. Inhale to center, exhale, switch sides. So this time, the right hand comes down behind you, left hand comes onto the right knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale, twist. Try to get an even twist throughout the spine and use the hand on the knee and the hand on the floor to help you. Every time you inhale, grow taller. Every time you exhale, twist deeper. Two more breaths here. And inhale, back to center. Okay. Stay on the floor where you are. Bring the soles of your feet together. Move the fleshy parts from under your bum. We're coming into bound angle pose. So for some of you, if you have tight hips, you may find that your knees are looking a bit like this. If that's you, take your block or your book and place it under your bum. So this will lift the hips up and will make the pose a lot easier. Your knees will drop out much more smoothly. If that's not you, and if this is kind of easy for you, you can always bring the block in front of you and place your feet on it. That will give you a bigger stretch. So do what feels right for you. Make sure you've moved the bum. And then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward. If you want, you can use the arms to press down on the legs. That might help you. But as always, listen to your body. Check that you're not in pain. That you're not pushing yourself too far. Otherwise, you will injure yourself. Breathe deeply here. Every time you inhale, lengthen. Every time you exhale, fold deeper. Take 2 more breaths like this. And then inhale to come back up. Exhale, release. Move your block to one side. We're coming into bridge pose. So lie on your back. Bring your feet in towards your bum. Your feet should be hip-width distance apart with the outer edges of the feet parallel. So you may not be able to see your feet where you are, but you should be able to feel it. Arms alongside the body, palms down. When you're ready, inhale, push through the hands, lift the hips up high. This is your bridge pose. If it's comfortable to do so, shimmy the upper arms underneath you, interlace the fingers, and then press the hands down as the hips lift up. Breathe here. As you do this, make sure that the thighs stay parallel and that the knees don't drop out towards the sides. So that can happen. So just be conscious of that. Keep pressing the hips up for a deep stretch through the front of the thighs. Of course, make sure there's no pain in the neck or the shoulders here. Keep breathing deeply. Two more breaths. And exhale to slowly lower back down. Okay, don't hug the knees in just yet. You may be tempted to, but we're going to go back into bridge pose. So this time, when we do bridge pose, you'll shimmy the upper arms under you, and you can place the heel of the hand under the hip. So this will lift you up higher. But if that's too high, do what we just did, where you interlace the hands, press the hands down, push the hips up. That's a little bit easier. If you're not sure, have a go. Have a go at lifting the hips up higher, but if you get it there and the hips are too high and it's kind of painful, come back into the pose we just did. So when you're ready, arms alongside the body, palms down. Inhale, press through the hands, lift the hips up. Shimmy the arms under you. Bend the arms, place the heel of the hand under each hip like this. Remember, if this doesn't feel good, come back into the variation that we just did. Stay here and breathe. Remember that the thighs should be parallel. Take 2 more breaths. lower back down. Okay, don't hug the knees in just yet. Because I find that after every big back bend, there's naturally you're going to want to hug the knees in. But we try to do, all of the back bends together and then a counter pose. So we're going to go into wheel pose. Now wheel pose isn't for everyone. It's where you put your hands back and you lift everything up. It's a really deep back bend. If you haven't done this before, I don't recommend you do it today. I recommend that you go back into bridge pose, we just did, and you either have the hands together, pushing into the floor, or the hands under the hips. If you have done wheel pose before, feel free to join me. So this is a more advanced back bend. It feels really good. It really stretches the front of the body, the hips, the shoulders. So whichever pose you're doing, let's get ready. So if you're coming into your bridge pose, arms alongside the body, palms down. And when you're ready, please do go up. If you're coming into wheel pose, you have your hands next to your ears. The fingers point towards the toes. The elbows stay in, so don't let the elbows flay out. When you're ready, and please do this slowly, you have to move up slowly and move down slowly. So do this with a lot of awareness. Inhale, press through the hands and push everything up towards the ceiling. Stay like this and breathe. So this is your wheel pose. As you're breathing, make sure that the glutes are activated to support the lower back. Try to straighten the arms, try to straighten the legs. If you're tired or you're uncomfortable, please come out of this slowly. If not, stay here, breathing deeply. 2 more breaths, whether you're in wheel or bridge. And then everybody slowly come back down, take your time. And then now you can hug your knees in. Rock from side to side. Massaging the spine on the floor. And now we'll stay lying on our backs. We're going to come into legs up wall pose, but without a wall. So, arms down, lift your legs up. Don't worry about having straight legs. If you need to have a bend in them like this, that's fine. From here, circle your ankles. If it feels good, you can lift your arms up and circle your wrists. This is letting the blood flow back down towards the heart. Switch directions. And then bring everything down. Stay on your back. Shift your bum a little bit to your right. Drop your knees down to the left. Extend the arms out, or if you don't have much space, you can have cactus arms. Turn your head to your right. Stay like this. Let the body feel heavy. Let the muscles feel soft. Couple more breaths. Come back to center. Bring your knees back up. Shift your bum to the left. Drop the knees down to the right. This time, turn your head to the left. Arms are out or cactus arms. Feel the spine long here as it twists. So twists are so good. If you've been doing forward folds and back bends, twists are really good. They're a really good counter pose, and they're really healthy. They're really healthy for your spine. They encourage blood flow into the spine, and they stretch the muscles between the vertebrae. 2 more breaths. Come back to center and prepare for Savasana. So, staying on your back, you can straighten the legs. If you've got any back pain, you can keep your legs bent, maybe bring the knees together. That's if you have back pain. But if not, straighten your legs. Your feet can be mat width distance. You can have your arms a little bit away from the body with your palms facing up. Close your eyes and fully relax now. Letting the body feel heavy, letting the body sink down into the floor. Allow the muscles to soften and let your breath flow naturally at its own rhythm and pace. Enjoy this moment of doing absolutely nothing. With every exhalation, allow yourself to feel heavier and heavier. Keeping your eyes closed, start to bring your attention back into your body, back into your room, and wiggle your fingers and your toes. Gently turn your head side to side. And then stretch your body long. And keeping the eyes closed still, slowly make your way up to seated. Take your time. Take a moment to notice how your body feels and how your mind feels. Have a little moment of gratitude towards yourself for doing yoga today. And then place your hands in your heart center in prayer position. Lift them up to your third eye as we lift our hearts to our minds and back down as we bring our minds to our hearts. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the class.